All right, so let's review for your quiz tomorrow. Page 5. Everybody take a look at page 5. Page 5. Yeah, that's how we do this. We go back and review what we've already taught. So, your quiz tomorrow, sections 1.1 through 1.4. So, section 1, domain is all the what points? X's. Range is all the Y's. How do you tell if it's a function or not? Vertical line test, or in a set of points, what do you look for to make it not a function? X's that are the same with different Y's. So, if I gave you the point 3, 1, 2, 1, are we still a function? Yes. You're allowed to have repeating Y's. If I said 2, 1, is that a function? Yeah, that's the same point. And then I put 3, 2. No. Now we are not a function because you can't have the same input giving you different outputs. Yes? Okay, I want you guys to look at questions 9, 10, 11, and 12 on page 5. Somebody in this class is going to get this question wrong, and we're all going to point and laugh at you. So it says f of x is equal to 2x plus 4, right? And then first it says find f of 1. Well, every single one of you are going to get that correct. The answer is 6. Yes? Plug in a 1. Easy. And then the next question is find f of, what is it, negative 2? 10. Plug in a 10. And you're all going to get that question right because the answer is 24. And then the next question says f of a. Don't get this wrong. What's the only thing you got to do? 2a plus 4. Do you go any farther? No. Stop. Don't do any more. Just move on. Okay? That should be a gimme question tomorrow, right? Okay, don't screw that up. Questions like 14 through 17. How do you identify the domain of those? What do we look for? Oh, yeah, look for what are some errors that would cause problems. We look for things like you can't divide by 0. So in a question like, let's just do 17. It says 1 over the square root of 8x. Well, what's going to make the error of dividing by 0? If the denominator equals 0, right? Which you square both sides. So x is not going to be allowed to equal 0, right? What other problem do I have to make sure I avoid here? You are not allowed to square root of a negative number. What would cause that problem? If the 8x was what? Less than 0, that would cause that problem. So x can't be less than 0. So x can't be less than 0. X can't equal 0. So what's my domain then? Where does x have to be? X such that it can't be less than 0. So it has to be, can it be equal to? No. So x has to be greater than 0. Yes? So remember, look for what would be the error, what would be the thing that causes the problem, and then work to avoid that problem. Okay? Good with those? First section, easy? Okay. Yeah, vertical line test, but you guys are good at that. All right. Turn the page over to page 10. Distance formula. How do you find the distance formula? Or how do you find the distance between 2 points? Square root of x minus x.
I thought it was x squared.
Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's one of the x's minus the other x. Square it. Plus, what's the only thing you have to make sure you do? If I put 1 first, what do I have to put first here? 5. You have to be consistent there. It doesn't matter which one's the first point, which one's the second point. You just have to be consistent. So you get negative 1 squared, which is 1. What is that? Negative 4 squared is 16. Now, I'm not going to want a decimal. I don't want 4.2. What I want is a simplified radical. So 2 root 5, whatever. Square root of 17. 17's prime, so that's just going to simplify to square root of 17. So you're going to leave that as an answer. Okay? On your quiz tomorrow, every question that requires you to take a square root to find the answer, I don't want a decimal answer. I want a simplified radical. I will remind you of that tomorrow. Okay? But on the next questions, like question number 17, there's a little caveat to that. I'm going to give you this. And I'm going to ask for 2 things. I'm going to say, what is the radius? And draw the graph. Okay? What's the first thing you got to do? Divide by 3, so you get x squared plus y squared equals 60. So then my r is going to equal the square root of 60. Now, what do I want as a final answer for my radius? Simplify that radical. So 10 and 6, 2 and 3, 2 and 5. So I got a pair of 2's with a 15 left in. So my radius is 2 root 15. But now I got to draw the graph. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How do I draw that graph? The radius is 2 root 15. It'd be easier to estimate what is the square root of 60. Well, we know the square root of 64 is 8, so this is probably like 7.6, 7.7, so something like that. So now you're going to go over here and go, it's about here. 7 point something, 7 point something, 7. Something like that. And then I'm going to make fun of all your circles tomorrow because you're all going to make circles and they're all going to suck too. So, yeah. Yep. It's all fun and games until I make fun of you too. Easy? Yes? So all the way even to 26. Yes, those ones with the harder points are fair game. So don't be surprised if I throw a square root of 2, square root of 3 in there, like question number 24. Okay? What? But they're easy. It stresses you out. I'll come by and I'll tap you in the back to kind of. Huh? Or I'll just hand you some Kleenex. Are we good with those? You want me to do any of those? How about a question like number 31, where they give you the point, the square root of 2, 5, which is somewhere up here. They say that is on the circle. Your job is to find the equation of said circle. What's the easy way to do that? What's the equation of a circle? X squared, y squared, r squared. Do we have an x point? What is the square root of 2 squared? 2. What is 5 squared? 25. So r squared is going to equal 27. Yes. R would be the square root of 27. If I was asking you what the radius was, it would be 3 root 3. But what am I asking for? Equation of circle, which the answer would be x squared y squared 27. Good? Yes? Yes, because I'm asking, it'll say, what is the equation of the circle if this point is on the circle and the center is at 0, 0? So I'm asking for what is the equation of that circle. Are we good with those? All right. Well, that's about it out of that section. Look at page 15. This is when we are still just dealing with degrees. Now, yes, be prepared to do questions like number 12 in both degrees and radians. So if I say 17 twelfths of a rotation, why? If I say degrees, you would take 17 twelfths of what? Of 360. You multiply. 360 divided by 12 is 30. What's 30 times 17? Help a dude out. What's 30 times 17? What? 510? Is this going to be positive or negative? Counterclockwise is positive. Easy? If I said to do that same question now that we know how to do radians, we would do 17 twelfths of what? 2 pi. Well, great. That's just 17 over 6 because the 2 and the 12 would reduce. Ta-da! Easy? Radians make life easy. Radians, we like them. A lot easier. Good with those? All right. How about questions like 13? If I give you 40 degrees and I say, name 3 coterminal angles. Now, again, now I can do this, well, how do you find coterminal angles? You just simply add or subtract what? 360. So what are some coterminal angles? 400. Because 40 plus 360 would be 400. What's a 760? What's a negative one? Negative 320. Those are some coterminal angles, yes? Now, something we haven't really talked about yet, but since we now know how to do this, what if I gave you 2 pi over 5 and said name 3 coterminal angles? You're going to do it the same way, except you're going to add or subtract now what? 2 pi. Instead of adding 360, we're just adding 2. Now, again, easy way to do that. 2/5 as a fraction. Okay? Add 2. 2 and 2/5 or 12/5. Add 2. 22/5. Or I could minus 2. Get back down, and then, was it negative 8/5? So it works exactly the same way in radians. Instead of adding and subtracting 360, because that's a full rotation. We're adding full rotations in radians, which is just 2 pi. Simple? So expect those on your quiz. Anything else on that page? Okay, last section. I think you guys are pretty good at them. It's all the converting. There will be degrees to radians, radians to degrees. There will be degree decimal into degree minute seconds, and vice versa. Make sure you know how to use the calculator to go both ways with degree minute seconds into degree decimal. And then make sure you know how to do radian to degree, degree to radian. That's it. That's your quiz. Anything on page 21 you want to see again? That was last night's homework, so usually pretty fresh. Everybody flip over all the way up to page 28. By the way, we're skipping section 5. If you want to learn about angular and linear velocity, go talk to Burse in physics class. Because we're skipping section 5, I don't want you to do all of this little assignment, but I do want you to do question 13. How do you find an arc length? If I say I have a circle and I give you 5 pi over 6 and I say a radius of 10, how do I find that arc length? What's the only thing I really have to do here? What do I do with the 5 pi over 6 and the 10? Times them. Done. Just times. Easy? Don't be surprised if I throw one of those on your quiz tomorrow too. So what do you think I want you guys to do tonight? 1 to 13. Just do 1 to 13. You can skip the last 2 because we're technically skipping the last section, but I did want you to do these. Okie dokie.